told a guy that I just wanted to be friends, and he sent me a massive, massive paragraph about how girls are always assuming things. And he just wants to be friends too. So he sends me a massive paragraph that couldn't even fit on the phone screen. You want to be a girl so bad? Do you want to be a girl so bad? It's my sophomore year and I'm transferring to a new school. I'm trying to get an idea of the student body, who's going to be in my class, who's going to be in my classes. And so I'm on the 2025 incoming student page, but I have a spam account and I didn't realize that I was on my spam account and not my main account. So I'm looking through the 2025 page and I'm like requesting to follow a couple people. And my dumbass, I realized I'm like, oh shit, like I'm on my spam account. So I close out of it and I like unrequest them. Kind of embarrassing, but I went on my main account and then I just started following the same people, hoping that they'd be like, oh, whatever. Like I got the same like one notification from somebody requesting to follow me. But this one guy, I'm gonna name him Mike. Mike actually realized that I had followed him on my spam account. So he DMs me and he's like, hey, like, is this you? Like, did you follow me before? And I was like, yeah, I did. Like kind of embarrassing, but I was on my spam account and I didn't realize, but I'm an incoming like transfer student. So I was just trying to see who's gonna be in like my class. One of the first things that I told Mike was that, yeah, I'm transferring here. I'm just looking for friends. I was attending a STEM school and most of the people there were guys. So I was like trying to emphasize, I just want friends. I don't want anything else. Mike seemed really nice at first. He was just talking to me about the school and then classes I'm probably gonna have to take as an incoming student. He tells me a little bit about his hobbies and I talk to him about mine. And he asks me if I want to go out to breakfast. And I was like, oof. I was like, I don't know. This could definitely be thought of as a date, especially if he's asking me out to breakfast. But I was like, you know what? This is the one person that's talking to me. He seems kind of normal. I guess we can go. It might have been later that week or that weekend. We go out to breakfast. I meet him there and he seems kind of normal, but I can tell from the way he's talking to me, Mike is kind of flirting with me and I'm getting a little uncomfortable because I'm like, I just want to be friends. He's saying stuff like, there's a lot of nerdy people that go to this school and he's just like really surprised that someone like me would be going to like a really nerdy school like that, which like also kind of derogatory. Ouch. At my university, they had this thing called HVZ, which was like a Nerf gun war through like humans versus zombies. He tells me about it and he's like, yeah, it's really great because there's a lot of really weird people that go to that school and it's a great outlet for them. I was like, oh yeah, I'm sure it's great, like to build a community. And he was like, yeah, I don't know. I think without it, we'd have a lot of school shooters. I was like, oh my God. I was blown away that he said that. I felt myself go, ugh. I ignored him saying that. And then he goes on to talk about classes and he's like, yeah, if you ever need the homework assignments for these classes, like I have all of them, like I have all of the assignments. So I'm just like, dude. Biggest thing that made me feel like it was the date, he paid for the meal. Okay. We leave and I'm like, dude, I think that this guy thought that it was a date, but whatever. Like it's somebody I know at the school. I told him I'm not interested in that. Hopefully he gets the point across. Then he texts me later that night and he tells me that him and some of his friends are planning on going to one of the springs nearby, but it's his two friends and their girlfriends. Okay. I told him I didn't want to go to the river though, and I decided to give him the benefit of the doubt because he asked me again if I wanted to go out to eat later that week. And school was about to start, so I was like, whatever. I mean, it's one person that I know. I can give him another chance, okay? Maybe he was just nervous and saying weird stuff. I'm not going to pretend to remember everything that we talked about when we went out to eat, but I do remember that he still was pretty flirty and I was like, yeah, he thinks that like we're talking. He pays again and I tried to pay and he would not let me. And I'm like, dude, stop. We go to leave and I'm like, I'm gonna use the bathroom. Like, it was nice to see you though again. Like, thank you for the meal. Like, I'll see you at school. And I go to the bathroom and I'm like waiting in there hoping that like he leaves so he doesn't have to walk me to my car. And I come out and he's still sitting there. And I was like, oh, like you're still here. And he was like, yeah, what kind of friend would I be like if I just like left you here? And I was like, okay, well, we said goodbye. But he walks me to my car, which is exactly what I did not want. And he looks at me. He gives me that look where it's like, you want to kiss me right now. I still had not had my first kiss, so I was a little bit mortified. He's coming a little bit closer and he's like, yeah, so I hope you get home safe, and like then reiterate, oh, thank you for the meal. Yeah, thank you. I hope you get home safe too. And I like open up my car door behind me with my hand and I'm like, bye. And I just like pop in my car. It was at this point that I was like, okay, I have to put a stop to this because now he's like paying for my meal twice and whatever he just did there at the end, he's interested in me. Before I had even gotten home, he texted me and was like, do you want me to walk you to class? Like, I can stop by your car if you tell me what lot you're parked in and I can walk you. Like, I know the campus gets really confusing. We had one building at our school at the time. I told him, no, like, I'll figure it out. I'm gonna get there early, but thanks. And he was like, you sure? Like, I can walk you. Like, I don't even mind, like, picking you up. And I was like, no. And then it was at that point when I got home, I was like, I have to say something. So I did. I texted and I was like, hey, like, I really appreciate you talking to me and I appreciate you trying to get to know me and help me get adjusted to the school. But I just really want to emphasize that I just want to be friends. I just want friends. I'm not trying to date anybody. And I'm kind of getting the feeling that that's not what's happening here. I don't remember exactly what I said, but it was something to the effect of that. He doesn't say anything for a little bit. And then maybe a couple hours later, I get a massive paragraph. I had to scroll a little bit to be able to see what it said. He's just going off on me. He's like, I don't understand why girls do this all the time. I'm just being nice. I don't know why you're interpreting it that way. I know you said you just want to be friends. I don't remember everything he said just because it was a long time ago and it was a massive paragraph. But most of it was just him saying that he's just trying to be nice and I was being really rude for trying to re-emphasize that I just want to be friends, which if he was just trying to be friends, I feel like it would have been better for him to be like, yeah, I know, I understand that. Like, sorry if I was giving you the impression, like, I'll kind of back off a little bit, or like, what am I doing that's making you feel that way? Nothing like that. It was him like, why do girls always do this? Why do they always think that? Like, I'm just trying to be nice. Like, I was just trying to help you, whole, like, going in at me. And I was a little bit scared because I was like, I haven't even started school yet and I just wanted friends and this guy's like coming on really strong and now he's mad at me. And I was like, I'm just trying to emphasize, like, I just want to make sure like I'm not giving you the wrong idea, like I just want to be friends. And he's like, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, needless to say, we didn't really talk after that. I just like, I don't remember if I responded or what happened from there. But another funny thing that happened was I had made friends with a different group of people and it was actually like my ex's friend group, which is like not even related, but they were having like some kind of party or they were gonna go to a party, I don't know, and you were like, oh, do you know any girls? I was the only girl that they hung out with, but Mike had called my new friend group asking if they knew any girls, and I was the only girl that they hung out with.
Hi guys, come make slime with me while I tell you the story of how I got my first kiss and then I got friends-zoned the morning after. To set the scene a little bit, I've had a hallway crush on this guy for years. We'll call hallway crush Dave. Dave texts me out of the blue and he said, hey, can me and we'll call his friend Rob. Hey, can me and Rob come over and jump on your trampoline? And they do. They come over. They jump on my trampoline for like 10 minutes and then they head on inside and we just hang out. And this happens a few times. And then kind of randomly, Dave asks me, hey, do you want to go watch a movie with me? And I'm like, okay. Like, I don't have anything else to do. That sounds fun. And I thought that Rob or another one of Dave's friends was going to join us, but they didn't. And so I was like, maybe this is a date. But then during the movie and everything, it felt very just hang out. So I was like, okay, this is cool. We're hanging out and like, it's fine. We're chill. Nothing's happening. And that's okay. This movie thing happens 2 more times. And then one day, Dave and Rob come over and we play hide and seek, naturally, like high school seniors do when they get together. And Dave is acting a little bit weird. Whenever Rob is the seeker, Dave hides where I hide. He's insisting. I'm like, oh, no, you can have this room. I'll go hide over there. And he's like, no, it's okay. We can hide together. It's okay. And I'm like, okay, guess we're hiding together then. So one round, we end up in my storage room. And then we hear Rob is in the next room over. And Dave starts talking really, really close to my face. And all of a sudden he's like, shh, you can't talk anymore. And I'm like, what do you mean I can't talk anymore? Like, we've been talking this whole time. He's like, no, you can't talk anymore. And then he says, shit. I'm like, did you just shush me? And then he says, what are you gonna do about it? Sorry, I'm not telling this very well. It's okay, no one sees my videos anyway. I'm not telling this very well because it's like, it's so embarrassing to look back at. It's so embarrassing. Okay, so Dave is shushing me really close to my face, and then all of a sudden he kisses me. And it's literally just like a, and I'm kind of stunned. I'm just standing there like, okay. And he's whispering to himself, which this made me feel awful. This made me feel so bad about myself. He's whispering to himself, oh, I shouldn't have done that. That was a bad idea. Like, I shouldn't have done that. That was the worst. I shouldn't have done that. And I'm looking at it, and we're just standing in the dark side by side. And I'm like, it's okay. Like, it's fine. He's like, no, I shouldn't have done that. And I was like, okay. Like, what am I supposed to say to that? And so like a minute later, Rob comes in, he finds us, and he's like, haha, found you guys. But then as like a little prank joke thing, he runs out of the storage room and closes the door. And so we're again just alone in the dark. Pitch black. I can't see anything. I'm feeling around. I finally find Dave. He guides us to the door. Before he opens up the door, mind you, Rob is on the other side of this door. Like, right there. Rob is right there. Dave kisses me again. A little weird because he was so, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Oh, this is so bad. He kisses me again 2 minutes later, right? And this time, we didn't by any means make out, but it wasn't just he went like 3 times like, okay, if you don't like kissing noises or anything, I would skip this part. He went like, and for like maybe 5 times. He did that maybe 5 times. Okay, so it wasn't making out, but it was a little bit more than a peck. And then he grabs my hand and takes me outside. And I'm so confused. 1 second, he's saying, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have kissed you. And then next second, he's like, softcore macking. Okay, make up your mind. Are we doing this or are we not? Now, at this point, we're still playing hide and seek. Dave kisses me 1 more time in this game. Not anything special, just a little kiss. But it's kind of important to note that he kisses me 3 times that night. And then Rob has to leave early. Rob has an early curfew that day. And Dave stays. And the second Rob leaves, Dave is silent still, like, to himself. He won't talk to me. We were playing Boomerang Foo and he was almost sulking. Weird. But eventually, Dave leaves. And at this point, after Rob has left, he said maybe 10 words to me. After kissing me 3 times. Okay, maybe he's nervous. I'm a little confused. I'm a little bit annoyed. Let's make it blue. So the next morning, I haven't heard a word from Dave, which is a little weird because after every time we hang out, usually he says, you know, thanks for having us over, for hosting or whatever. He just did that every time. But he didn't last night. Well, not my last night, but the night that I just told you about. So I texted him in the morning and I said something along the lines of, hey, I thought it was really weird how after Rob left, you couldn't even talk to me. Just so you know, I do like you. So if you're wanting to pursue this, like, I'm down to see where it goes. But let me just know where your head is at. This is where it gets bad, folks. Dave texts back, yeah, I'm so sorry I made you feel that way. I think you're a great friend. And just because I'm not one to beat around the bush, and I was a little confused, I texted back, is this you friend zoning me? I'm just making sure. And he texts back, yes. Let's recap. You're friend zoning me, but last night you kissed me 3 times. I didn't kiss you. You kissed me. I kissed you back, but I didn't initiate any of the kisses. And then the next morning when I say, hey, I do like you, like, where's your head at? You say, you know what? You're a good friend. I'm thinking, okay, I must be the worst kisser in the world. But then why did he go for seconds? Why did he go for thirds? Anyways, that's kind of the end of my story. But for a little plot twist, Rob, Dave's friend, asked me to prom 2 nights ago. This is how the slime turned out. I really love the color and it's very stretchy. I love a good butter slime. I hope you guys Have a lovely day or night or morning. Goodbye. Hi guys, welcome to part 2 of my first kiss story time. So many people saw my story time that I posted yesterday. So many more people than I thought would. And a lot of people wanted more. So here is the aftermath. Also, if you haven't seen part 1, I'd probably go watch that before you watch this, because none of this is gonna make sense if you haven't seen it. So if you remember at the end of part 1, I mentioned that in Dave's text he sent after we kissed, he said, yeah, I think you're a great friend, like I want to stay friends. A few days after I got friend zoned, I texted him, just a chill text, because I'm desperate. I don't really have a lot of friends. And so I really wanted to stay close to these guys because it was fun to hang out with them and I need more people in my life. So I texted him. I don't even know what I said, but I remember it was chill and he left me on red. And so I'm like, okay, you lied. You don't want to stay friends. But I tried. I was desperate. What could I say? Now, 2 weeks after this, he texted me and he said, oh, I got a new high score on Block Blast, because that's what we used to text about before he kissed me. And I just texted back, cool. Because if you are gonna leave me on red for 2 weeks, that's crazy. And then you're just gonna like text me about Block Blast like nothing happened. I don't understand. So I'm low-key pissed. I text back super dry. And then nothing happens until another week. So 1 week later, I go to a party. It's a party with tons and tons of people. Dave is there. Dave is there. Notably, Rob is there too, but Dave is there and I'm freaking out. I don't know what to do or what to say. Luckily, not much, because he won't even make eye contact with me. Are you kidding me? Close to the very end of this party, I'm just standing and I see that Rob is really, really close to me. And I make eye contact with him and I smile and wave and say hi. After this, I see Rob go to Dave and just talk to him. I didn't assume it was about me. I didn't know what it was about. I didn't really care what it was about. But then Dave turns to me and we make eye contact and I just like, because I don't know what to do. He's being mean. I'm pissed he's not making eye contact with me or trying to talk to me. I don't know. It's just a weird situation. And so I kind of just divert my eyes and walk away. Now, right before I leave, I walk past Dave and he gives me a little, like an up nod. He didn't even have the decency to down nod me. He wasn't like, hey. He was, So again, nothing happens for a long time. No contact. Now, fast forward to the present, okay? A few days ago, Dave texts me and asked, hey, have you been asked to prom? I texted him back, no, because I haven't. Around 2 hours later, Rob shows up at my door, drops off a poster, does his little ask. It was actually really nice. It was cute. He even gave me a little stuffy. Stuffed animal is what I call them, stuffies. Here's where it gets absolutely insane. Maybe 10 minutes after Rob drops off this poster, Dave calls me, not even text, calls me and says, hey, do you want to go out and get like a treat or something? I'm doing homework. And so I say, I'm sorry, I can't, I'm doing homework. And he's like, are you sure you don't need like a homework treat? What? I'm so confused. You are playing mind games. I want to make this slime like a peach, so I think I'll mix orange and pink. Now I'm thinking, okay, maybe Rob is with him. Maybe they wanted to go out and get a treat and like hang out together. But I have a Ring camera and I look at it. Rob dropped it off with a different one of his friends. Dave isn't with him. Dave asked me to go get a treat or go out and do something with him right after Rob asks me to prom, and after he's like ghosted me for so long. Now I'm so deeply confused. I don't know what's going on. Today, Dave and Rob both texted me, hey, do you want to hang out? And they're together, I'm pretty sure. I think it was like a, hey, do you want to hang out with me and Rob? Or with me and Dave? But I don't know. This whole situation, it's a mess, and I don't know what to do. But I did say yes to prom with Rob. So I'm going to prom with Rob. I don't know what's happening. I feel like I'm stuck in the middle of a really weird triangle sort of thing. That's pretty much the end of my story. This is how the slime turned out. I absolutely love the color. This is my favorite color ever. I love a light peach. And I hope you guys have a lovely morning or evening or day, whatever you're having. Love you guys. Bye. Mwah.
I'm 19 and I just broke up with my 26-year-old boyfriend. Story time! Half of my account is just airing out my personal business while doing my makeup, so this felt fitting. To preface, this video is not meant to be slander in any way. Most likely, and Lord willing, he will never see this video anyways. I will be giving him a fake name for the purpose of the story time so no one looks him up or anything, so we're gonna call him Cupcake. Me and Cupcake met the middle of October in 2025, so right before I turned 19. So I was still 18. Cupcake and I met at a restaurant in Tennessee. I live in Tennessee, but he actually lives in North Carolina. He was in my area of Tennessee because one of his friends was getting married. So we were both at the restaurant and he comes up to me, thought I was pretty, and asked for my number. We start talking, and then a month later he comes and visits me in Tennessee. Honestly, it wasn't super great from the start. And I kind of knew that, but I really liked him. I think he did really like me, but he didn't show it in a great way. So I kind of just put my blinders on. I kept our relationship pretty quiet just because I knew the age gap was pretty weird, and I didn't really tell my friends until a couple weeks in. But when I eventually did tell my friends, they were like, Bella, what are you thinking? You are a freshman in college and he is 26. He actually worked as a biochemist, so he's been out of college for a long time too. My friends were real ones. I did not listen to them because I was ignoring it. I liked him, but I knew they were right. And the age gap itself of 7 years is pretty weird, but the fact that I was in high school a couple months prior to us meeting and he had been in high school for 8 years. Of course, our relationship was not all bad, but it is very odd that he was interested in me, and if you do not think that is odd, I would like to hear why. Also, I just broke up with him literally last week, so I'm not going to share too many details, but I mean, if you want more story times, I can give them later. I'm all done. Thank you so much for watching and listening. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask. I'd love to answer, but also I want to hear your opinions. Do you think it's weird that he was interested in me and that we were dating, or is that normal to you? Regardless, I love you all so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
My birth story as somebody who gave birth at 14. Okay, I'm gonna put my bangs like this so that I can do my lashes while I talk about my birth story. So at 5:05 on March 1st, my water broke, but I woke up and I didn't really think it was my water. I kind of I don't know, I kind of thought I had a dream and I peed myself because I had to pee really bad. That's what I thought. That's what I had in the back of my head. But I stood up and then water started trickling down my leg, and I was like, okay, this is not pee. This is my water breaking. So I kind of stood there for a second and I was trying to comprehend what just happened, because obviously I woke up to that. And I went into the living room because my mom was sleeping on the couch, and I told her that my water broke, and she was she got up so fast. Actually at first she kind of didn't really know what was going on, and then she realized, and then she got up. Also, these are the lashes I'm using. So she got up and she asked me if I was in any pain, and for some reason I wasn't. I don't know if people usually start having contractions when their water breaks, but I wasn't in any pain at all. So after she got up, she was asking me if I was in any pain, and then she was okay, are you ready to go? And I was yeah. And then she was okay, I'm gonna brush my teeth, I'm gonna call the photographer and your brothers and your dad and all that. So she's brushing her teeth. I'm I think I changed my shirt, or I did something. I put in my contacts, and then I made sure my bag was all ready, and I got my water bottle ready and everything. I was literally trying to comprehend what happened. So I got my water bottle ready and everything, and then after that, she came in from outside after calling or texting the photographer and just everybody, and then we got my bag and we got everything, and we left to go to the hospital it was around 5:10, 5:20ish. So this wasn't my first time to labor and delivery, but they had the welcoming committee there or whatever for probably somebody else. I'm really not 100% sure, but we got there and we told them what was going on, and they took me into the triage room. And if you don't know what that is, that's where they pretty much just monitor you to see what's going on. So they got the monitors on me and everything, and then they had me go to the bathroom and pee in the cup. So I peed in the cup, and then I laid down on the bed, and then they did a cervix check, and then they said I was 3 centimeters dilated, and then they did a swab to see if it was my water that broke, and they took it back for like testing or whatever. So they took it back for testing. Me and my mom were just sitting in the room waiting, and then they came back and they were like, oh yeah, that was your water. I did 4 14s and 1 12. So they walked me into the labor and delivery room. They got me laid down on the bed, and then things were like moving so fast. They did my IV, and they were trying to find like a good vein, and I told them to do it in my right arm because that's where I always get my IVs and blood drawn. And she started looking in the left, and she poked me in the left, and my vein started rolling, and I was like, this is exactly why I told you to poke me in the right arm. So then she tried it in the right arm, and she finally got it. And then they checked me again, and I was 6 centimeters dilated. Keep in mind, that's like only 20-ish minutes after they checked me, and I was a 3. So then my contractions started hitting every 2 minutes. Literally exactly 2 minutes. I wasn't really feeling them so much in my stomach, it was more in my back. So it wasn't really a pain that I wasn't used to because my whole pregnancy I had super bad back pain. They called the anesthesiologist in, and he came in and he was like getting prepped to do my epidural and everything, and then another nurse came in and she was getting the table prepped for like my placenta and like just all the things that you need while you're giving birth or like after or whatever. So they have me like, when they're doing your epidural, they kind of have you like get into like this position. Like, I don't really know how to explain it. Kind of like, I don't know, kind of like this, and like poke your like back out. And so I was like kind of scared because I had already got poked twice for my IV, and if you know me, I hate needles literally so much. And I couldn't really get into the right position, and the nurse, she like kind of yelled at me because like I couldn't get into the right position, and she was like, if you want this epidural, you need to get it now. And like, so I was trying to get into the position because I was already at a 6, so they thought I was gonna have him in the next 15 minutes with how fast my contractions were and like all that. So they got my epidural over with, which, guys, it does not hurt. After they do your like numbing needle whatever, you don't feel one thing. Besides the fact, like, he gave me a spinal as well, which, because they thought I was gonna have him in the next 15 minutes, which is where, like, you get numbed faster and more. And he goes, you're gonna feel a zing in your leg, and my leg, like, flew up in the air. Okay, we have changed rooms because he got the hiccups. So after they got my epidural over with, they laid me down on the bed and they put the peanut ball like in between my legs, and then they covered me up with blankets and everything, and I started getting like the labor shakes, which is where you start shaking really bad and you can't control it. So by that time it was 8 o'clock-ish, and my contractions started getting to the point where I could feel them. The photographer got there and my brother got there, and my mom and everybody was just sitting down, and I was trying to like control like my shaking, but I couldn't. So I never ended up getting the shaking to calm down or anything. I started feeling my contractions in my stomach, and then I started feeling like I need to go to the bathroom really, really, really bad. Which, if you don't know, it means that your baby is coming down. Right after they did my epidural, they ended up losing his heart rate. That was really scary because I had like 8 nurses and doctors rush in, and the anesthesiologist rush in. I'm getting flipped from side to side. They're trying to fill baby, and they're checking my cervix and all of that. So then they ended up having to put a monitor on his head, which it was like a little square thing, and they like put it on his head. And they finally found his heart rate, which I was freaking out. I was terrified
I didn't know what was going on, and once they finally found it, I was like so relieved. So around 11 o'clock, the nurse came in and she checked my cervix, and I told her I started feeling like I need to go to the bathroom really bad. And so she goes to check my cervix, and she said, "Oh, I can't check your cervix. Your baby's head is right there." I was like, "What?" I was terrified because that was like so fast. So I was doing practice pushes, and he was like, he was pretty much like, he was crowned all the way. So if I would have pushed any more, he would have not stayed in. He would have came out. So they told me to stop pushing, and they called the doctor in, and I was pushing and pushing, and I pushed for 15 to 20 minutes, and my baby was out. So all in all, I pushed him out in 15 to 20 minutes, and I was only in labor for 5.5 to 6 hours.
Okay, story time of why I will never train a man again. So this guy finds me on Facebook. He wants to start working out. I say, great. I take him on as a client. We meet at the gym. We start working out. Subtly, he starts crossing boundaries. He's asking about my personal life. He's asking about my dating life. He's asking about my exes. He's asking if I have a boyfriend. He's asking if I have a date. Just making those little comments, asking those questions. And at one point, he was nagging me in like the middle of the night. And I set like a boundary, and he didn't like that very much. And so he ended up blocking me. So we didn't work out the next week. Then he unblocked me, came back and said, "Hey, I want to start training again." I said, "Okay, that's fine." We train. And I think at one point I might have like, said I had a boyfriend or that I was dating somebody. I can't remember. And then the next day he was like, "Yeah, I'm not going to train next week. I don't think I can keep doing this." I was like, "Fine, take a break. I don't care. Good riddance." So he wants to start working out the end of January through February. We start working out. And again, he's messaging me in the middle of the day asking how my day is. I'm trying to be polite. He then tries to add one of my friends on Facebook. And I said, please do not, because he'd be crossing that boundary of like my personal life and our professional relationship. And he could not wrap his head around that at all. Why that would be inappropriate. Anyways, he would try to keep up this like banter online, and I would try to shut it down. And I just knew at the end of February, I'm done. I'm just going to walk away. So that's what I did. The last day we trained, I was like, okay, well, have a good one. Like, see ya. Mind you, I was training him at 3 a.m. 3 days a week. 3 a.m. That was a lot, but he had to work at 4:30. So anyways, I said bye on our last day. Have a good one. He never mentioned the month of March. He never mentioned next week. He just walked away, and I walked away. Normal, right? Today, I'm in the gym, and it's like the one random moment that I'm at the gym by myself because my friend is running behind. So I am literally in my little stretching area by myself. It's around 4:30 in the morning. This man walked up. I am shocked. I am on my toes though, right? I am a witty, like, on it girl. So as soon as I see him, I'm not flustered at all. I'm like, "Oh, hey, what's up? What are you doing here?" I'm all cool about it, but really in my mind, I'm like, God. So he walks up, "Hey, whatever happened with Tuesday?" And I'm like, "You didn't say anything about Tuesday." He's like, "Yes, I did." I'm sorry. He's like, "And I emailed you." I said, "I didn't get any email." He's like, "Yeah, I emailed from your website." I said, "Oh." I'm like, "When did you email me?" He's like, "I emailed you from your website." I said, "Okay, well, I don't have anything. That's weird." And I even went to like my website, and I'm like, "That everything looks right. Everything's working, but I don't know what to tell you." He's like, "I said Tuesday." I said, "Again, I'm really sorry. I didn't hear you say that. And yeah, like, I'll just email you and we'll figure it out." Because at this point now I'm acknowledging a little bit that he has now completely deactivated his Facebook. He's like, "Okay, so I'll just wait for your email." I said, "Yeah, go. I'll probably get it and I'll respond, and yeah, we'll figure out a time." And he's like, "Okay, sounds good." And then he just leaves the gym. This man does not live in that town. I'm pretty sure. I'm like 90% sure. So he drove to town. He emailed me in the morning, put a pin in it, saw my car, came into the gym to ask me when we're working out again and why I wasn't there Tuesday. Okay? Then left. He didn't work out. He came in, asked me that, and left. Okay. He did email me that morning. He emailed me at 4:31 in the morning. Came in the gym at like 4:35. He left, and it started to sink in. If you work at 4:30, why are you here at 4:30 on a Thursday when we usually work out from 3 to 4? Hear me out. It's because he knew I was going to be there, because he knows I work with my friend from 4:30 to 5:30. So that's why he was there, because he knew I'd be there. Like, I don't know any other explanation besides, like, he knew I worked out from 4:30 to 5:30, so he knew if he went there, I would be there. That was not cool to, like, confront me, like, would you show up to your ex's house? Like, why aren't you answering my phone calls? Probably, well, maybe, but probably not, right? I would never, you don't want to talk to me, I'll leave you be, okay? He could have reactivated his Facebook and messaged me. He could have waited for that email. But instead, he drove to the gym when I was working out to confront me. Okay. I got home and I saw his emails. He had emailed me again at like 6 o'clock. So he emailed me at 4:31 to say, like, hey. And then at 6:02 said, is this going through? At 10 a.m., I emailed him back after much thought. And I said, listen, I'm going to only train women from now on. That's just the direction that my professional career is going to go. I'm going to be a women's fitness specialist. So I'm no longer going to train you, but good luck with everything. And then he responded with, why didn't you tell me that this morning? Because I'm non-confrontational, because you caught me off guard. It's 4:30 in the morning. I don't know, because I don't have to. If I want to put it in writing, I'm going to put it in writing. But I didn't respond. He then emails me again, like 15 minutes later, saying, like, Erica, I'm really sorry. I look forward to us training together. I think you're awesome. And I love everything you taught me. And I'm sorry if I ever did anything. I'm sorry if I did something wrong. Why would you say that? Unless you know deep down that you did something wrong. But that's just my opinion. Then he wrote me on Facebook. So he reactivated his Facebook to write me on Facebook to let me know, again, like, hey, thanks for everything. Like, I think you're great. And, whatever. I don't even know. Thank you. And good luck with everything. Again, fucking psycho. So yes, I am done.
Hello, my beautiful people. I'm gonna do a story time that somebody sent me on how they dad sneaky link caught them together. So this was his freshman year in high school, and he had a sneaky link with a junior that he used to work with, and they would like go to each other's houses or whatever and link whenever nobody would be home, and like it wasn't an issue, like they was real sneaky with it, right? And this one particular night, they was on the phone, caked up and shit, talking, and they really wanted to see each other. Like they was on some freaky ass shit, and they just really needed to see each other right then and there. And he said you don't gotta threaten him with a good time, so you already know it. And he was on the way. So he couldn't go through the front door because her parents was home or whatever. So she snuck him in through the bathroom window, and her dad was like sleeping on the couch because her mom and her dad was like, her mom was not fucking with her dad, so she sent him to the couch. And this is at like 2 a.m. Already a red flag. Like they literally had to walk past her dad that was sleeping on the couch. Like, do you know how risky that really actually is? You're walking past a dad that's sleeping on the couch. But he was on a fucking mission. He was gonna crack. He wanted to crack. Mind you, this is on a school night. So they set an alarm for 5 o'clock. Her dad wakes up at 5:30. His mom usually wakes him up around like 6. They wake up and it's 5:45. So her dad is on the couch watching TV at this point, wide awake. And he lived 5 minutes away. He got 10 minutes to get to his house before his mom go in his room to wake him up. So what the girl did was that she told her dad to go like get her bag in the car. So they were like listening for the door to open and close to see like the dad was gonna go get the bag. The door opens and closes. They thinking that the dad is out the house. Really, the dad sent her uncle that lived with them to go get the bag. I'm not sure why the girl didn't go downstairs and check before she brought the boy downstairs, but the boy and the girl went downstairs at the same time, and the dad was sitting on the couch. They had thought that the uncle was asleep, so they didn't even think that her dad would have sent the uncle, but you should have checked, girl. So the dad is Haitian, and he sits both of them down, and he's yelling at this girl
in front of the boy. And he skedaddles out the front door. He ran out the front door and screamed for the girl to go. Go where? She's in her house. Go where? I know she got her ass whooped. But, you know, he made it home right in time, just at 6 o'clock. But the girl, I don't know. She probably got, like, the ass beating of her life. Because if that was me...
Ready with me to get picked up by my ex. Okay, guys. I have to actually look like the hottest I've ever looked in my entire life because I really want him back. So, okay, so we broke up. Well, I broke up with him. I didn't even want to. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking, but whatever. 2 weeks ago. Worst mistake of my life. It's been hell ever since. So, actually, no, for like the first week, I was doing pretty good, but I was also really sick, so I was like sleeping most of the day, and I honestly think that's the only reason why I was doing fine, was because I didn't really have time to think about it, because I was literally sleeping like 18 hours a day. Now, not doing great, like, at all. Yeah, I have to look like the best I've ever looked in my life. Which, I don't even know. At least I look tan. I went tanning today to cheer myself up. I also went to the gym, like, basically for self-harm. Okay, thank God I'm having a good makeup day today because, and thank God my makeup looks pretty good today. And my lashes. I did my lashes today because I literally, like, ripped them out last night because I was crying so much. So I'm actually very happy with my makeup. I'm gonna blend that out, don't worry. Now I need to do my hair. I don't even know. Okay, I'm curling my hair because he likes my hair curled. And so hopefully, guys, he might see that my hair is curled and he might be like, oh my god, how can I leave her? Yeah, no, this quite literally has been like probably the worst week of my life. Other than when my dog died. But other than that, no, this is definitely like takes the cake. Like, this is the worst time of my life. Everything, like, literally everything, like, bad that could happen to me happened to me this week. I got super sick. I got laid off from my job or whatever. Broke up with my boyfriend. Like, it just keeps getting worse. Okay, so I forgot to finish it, but did not go well. Apparently it doesn't matter how much makeup I put on or how I curl my hair. Right with me while I talk about a time my teacher basically let in a super drunk homeless man into my classroom. So this was my freshman year of high school and in my English class. A little context on my English teacher, he was like this really short Filipino man, and the first time I walked into his class, I did not expect him to act the way he acted. This man was ghetto as fuck, okay? Like, how he looked and how he acted were completely different. It was so weird. And also, he's an English teacher, but then his whole vocabulary was like all slang. I swear his favorite word was thug. Like, he kept calling people thugs. He kept saying like thug Olympics or thugalicious. Like, he was kind of odd. Like, can you imagine like a hood little short Filipino man keep on making different words that were made up with the word thug? And he's an English teacher, mind you. At first, everyone thought he was going to be really chill and like really cool, but then eventually we all just got like really annoyed of him because he would assign so much work and he was honestly just really rude. Not super important to the story, but I just thought I would share a little bit about the teacher. Anyway, so the day that the guy broke in was the last day before winter break, which was a finals day. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure everybody was finished with their finals because there was only like, I don't know, 20 minutes until school was ending. Suddenly the loudspeaker went off and then they said that there was a secure campus, which if you guys don't know, secure campus is like there's a threat outside of the school, so they need to close school down kind of, but teachers would just close their door and lock it and continue their classes. Like basically nothing was happening. It was just locked doors and that's it. So where I live, there are two main high schools, and the one that I used to go to was known as like the ghetto one. So honestly, we were kind of used to secure campuses because we would get them a lot, and we even had one when there was a stabbing at my school. So like we were kind of used to it. Or like we just weren't really nervous or scared or anything. By the way, I can do a story time on the stabbing, but it didn't really affect me personally, so I feel like it's not my story to tell. So anyways, back to the story. My teacher got up to close the door because secure campus, duh. And he closed the door, and right when he closed it, he opened it again because he saw someone was outside and basically let them in. Other side note, if you're in a secure campus and you're a teacher, you're not allowed to let in anybody into your classroom because of like health risk, obviously. Not health risk, safety risk. So that was already red flag number 1 for my teacher, obviously. The guy that came in, he obviously looked very much like he was homeless. Like I feel like you can't really mistake him for anybody working at the school. And he was high off of his mind. Bro was tweaking out. I don't really remember much about what happened when he was in the classroom because it's all kind of a blur, but I do remember he started walking around the room like kind of crazy, and he kept saying, "Don't do this to me, don't do this to me, don't do this to me," like over and over and over again. And it was really scary. Like he was obviously going through something. He kept walking around the classroom, and then eventually he started threatening to himself, and he just kept repeating that over and over again. It all happened really fast, but I'm pretty sure we were left alone with him in the classroom for like a solid 30 seconds to a minute, and my teacher literally dipped. Like he opened the door, let the guy in, and then he was gone. Nobody saw him. After the 30 seconds to a minute of being left alone with the guy in the room, security came in finally, and then they told all of us to get out and like run. And I know we probably should have gotten out, but then we're obviously young kids, and we were just really shocked and also confused. So we didn't like make an effort to run. We were all just kind of just watching like what is happening. Anyway, so we were told to run, and they were like really rushing us. So everybody left their backpacks, and we have phone cubbies. So most of the people left their phones there, but I had one of those Smithskis on my phone, so I was able to grab it really quickly as I was running out. As we were running away, police officers and their dogs started to run in, and then they kept yelling at us like, just go, and it was all so chaotic. So obviously all of our backpacks and stuff were left inside the room, and most people didn't have their phones, so they couldn't contact their parents. So our high school was located right next to the district office, so they just told everybody who was in the classroom to go to the district office. So we were sitting in the office for a really long time until they eventually let us go, and they saved some people for questioning, but then not everybody. Mind you, our backpacks and some people's phones were still in the classroom, and the guy was left in the classroom with the officers, and they didn't detain him until like 2 hours later. So he was left in the classroom with our stuff for like 2 hours. So everybody had to go home, and nobody was allowed to get their stuff until the next day. So the next day when I went to go get my stuff, my backpack had blood all over it because the guy tried to himself in the classroom. Basically what he did was take the fire hydrant, and there's, I don't know, some sort of metal piece that he took off, and he started like his neck. He didn't die, and he didn't like get super crazy injuries, so he's okay. But so it was really traumatic to hear about. Anyway, so my backpack had blood all over it, and then my stuff, there was some stuff that was thrown across the classroom, some stuff thrown out the window, like my wallet, my perfume, and like I lost a few things that I will never get back. This didn't just happen to me too. There was a lot of blood on other people's stuff, and some people just couldn't even find their stuff because I'm pretty sure it was taken by the police as evidence or just a throwaway because it was like too much. It was really traumatic to see all my stuff covered in blood and like scattered across the room. So I literally like started crying on the spot. Anyway, so fast forward to after winter break when we had to go back to school and back to the classroom. It was really awkward and really weird among all the students because we felt pretty unsafe, but obviously we had to go to school and we had a whole nother semester to deal with him, the teacher I mean. During break, there was a very heated talk about the teacher and saying like how essentially the whole situation was kind of his fault. So I think my teacher found out, and he could sense that he wasn't really liked among us. So he obviously had to kind of address it. The way he addressed it though was like with no empathy or sympathy and no accountability at all. He essentially just said like, it happened and we should just move on. And then basically the next day after we came back, he acted as if nothing happened. It took a lot of time for us to build that trust with him again. And you can tell, like even the class clowns, usually they were really loud in class, but then like after the incident, they weren't as crazy because nobody really wanted to be there. Obviously, my teacher did not get fired. He was protected by the union, so even though our principal was very upset with him, and lots of parents complained about him, he was like never gonna get fired. Anyways, so that was kind of like a traumatic little experience for me, so I used that to help transfer into the school that I'm currently going to, which, you know how I said there are 2 high schools and the one I used to go to was considered the ghetto one? I basically transferred to the other high school that I've been wanting to get into, but I didn't get into freshman year, so I used this incident to help me get into the high school. Obviously, they're gonna let me get in, though, because I didn't feel safe at the old school. So, like, what were they gonna say? No, stay in the unsafe school. Like, duh. I now try to make jokes about the things. So I'm always like, yeah, I turned the traumatic event into, like, something for my favor. So, it's all good. And that English class with all my classmates, we all, like, towards the end of that year started to, like, kind of trauma bond a little bit. We would always make jokes about it. And we never, like, took it seriously, but deep down, like, I think we all were like a little affected by it. We did find out like 4 months later that the guy that broke in was released, like with no trial. I don't even know. I try to distance myself from that situation, but he was released and he's free. Sorry guys, my storytelling skills aren't the best, and obviously it was a little bit traumatic for me, so I think my brain's like blocking out parts of the story, so I might have missed some parts or not told it properly, but yeah, that's the story time. Oh wait, I have one more thing to say, or a few more things, but it was also kind of the school's fault because, like I said, it was called a secure campus when it should have been a lockdown because the guy was already on school campus, so everything should have been locked down instead of secure campus. That was one of the excuses that my teacher used. He said that since it was secure campus, it didn't seem as serious, so it wasn't just his fault, which kind of valid. But then his other excuse was that he thought that it was one of the security guards, which was so stupid because the guy that broke in obviously did not look like one of the security guards, and he worked at that school for like how many years? I don't freaking know, but a long time. And he didn't recognize the security guards that were literally his coworkers, but then us freshmen who were there for less than a year knew like all the faces. So that was a really stupid excuse. But yeah, that's all that I can remember right now. If there's more, maybe like add in the comment or caption or something. But yeah, bye guys, love you all.
Hello everyone, I'm back in my vanity, and you know what that means. It is first date time. This first date is actually really exciting. In my last video, I was talking about how I'm only going on dates with people I meet in person, and the last guy I went on a date with, I had met him like at the club, and that turned out to be mid. This guy I met while thrifting. Like, how kismet is that? I'm literally like, I'm giddy. I really am. So Flan and I went to a couple different thrift stores yesterday, and we ended up just like popping in to this Goodwill, like kind of, we were just like, okay, whatever. We had no luck at the one before, so we were like, might as well just go to this Goodwill. It's pretty close. And we were like in this Goodwill, and I was like, I'm gonna wait a second before I get a cart or a basket or anything, just because like the last thrift store we were at was like mid, so I was like, okay, like let me just like browse before I grab a cart. So I'm like in the shoe section, whatever, I'm like grabbing all the shoes I like, and then I'm like, okay, it's finally time to get a basket. Like probably not a cart day, but it's a basket day. So I go up to the front to go get a basket, and this baddie is in line checking out, and like the baskets were like right near the checkout, and we made like crazy eye contact, and I was like, oh, he's looking too. I was like, this is major T. So I'm like, okay, cute, whatever, he's in line though, like I think nothing of it. So then I like grab my basket and I go over to like the tank top section, which is like right near the checkout, but like far enough away. And we just like keep making eye contact while he's in line. And finally he like checks out, and instead of leaving, he like turns around and he comes and finds me in the tank top section. And he's like, so do you want my number or what? I want your number. I want your number. I want it so bad. Like I literally was like, yeah, I'll have your number. I'll take your number. So I had him put his number in my phone. We've been texting a little bit, and tonight we're going to get drinks. Honestly, kind of early. We're getting drinks at like 6 p.m., which like a 6 p.m. Sunday date is kind of like wild, but like, okay, respectful, I guess. I don't know. Like, so yeah, I'm really excited to see how it goes. The only red flag is that he has the same name as my ex. Oop. But like, there's a million guys with that name. So it's like, okay, whatever. Like, how butthurt can I be? So I don't know, this could be the start of something new. I will definitely keep you guys updated. Maybe I'll do like a morning debrief tomorrow, but yeah. And then I'll do a moment for the fit in a second. Mwah. Okay, so this is the fit. This sweater top situation I thrifted in Vermont. This little skirt is either from Addicted or Cider, I can't remember. This bag I thrifted today from Goodwill. It's a Guess purse with like chrome hardware, obsessed. And then my shoes are also just a thrifted little kitten heel. I'm obsessed. All my friends think I'm gonna be cold, but I'm a Vermont girl at heart, so I should be totally fine. I love you guys, bye.
If anyone was wondering how my day is going, I was just listening to an audiobook and the reader had a little bit of an accent, and I thought, man, they should really make subtitles for this. Yeah.
I went on a date last Sunday. Let me tell you how it went. Origins of the man. I went out to the bar with my friends. This bar that we go to only plays like John Summit techno-y bad mixes kind of music. And it was of course after Super Bowl weekend. So they were playing Bad Bunny. And of course I got super excited, and I was like, I literally, as soon as I heard the first 2 beats, I went crazy. I went literally insane because this bar never plays that kind of music. And so I was like screaming and whatever, and I was singing every single word. I know Spanish, I'm fluent in Spanish, duh. Song ends, I feel a tap on my shoulder. I think it's one of my friends, and I turn around, I'm like, what? It's this guy. He's like, for my calculation, like 5'11", 6 foot. He's like pretty tall. Like bright blue eyes, you know, white, whatever. His opener is, do you speak Spanish? Mind you, in the background, I'm like, what? He's like, do you speak Spanish? And I'm like, oh yeah, I do. He's like, where did you learn it from? Do you look at me and think white? I don't think I look white. And I'm like, I know it. I speak it. okay, I took some in high school. And then starts speaking in Spanish. And he's like a little drunk. I'm completely sober, by the way. And I'm like, My biggest turnoff as a Latina is when guys are like, oh, you speak it, and then just start saying words that they know. And it's never anything of value. And so I'm like, oh, like you're pretty fluent. He's like, can I have your number? I would love to get to know you. I said, fuck it. I give him my number, whatever, and night passes on. I never see him again that night. And the bar is not that big. So I was like confused. 2 days pass. I kind of forget about it because I just didn't think about it. He sends me a text. Hey, this is blank. We met at this bar. I was hoping if I could like get to know you more and take you out for coffee. I was like, okay, down. Because I was like, I have nothing else to do, so I might as well entertain this. We're texting for a few days. It's like, you know, the awkward texting phase. And he's like, are you free next Sunday? I'm like, yeah. And instead of coffee, we go for dinner, okay? We go to dinner at Olive Garden. We meet up. We're like, oh my god, hi, how's it going? Everything is like pretty formal. Immediately, there's no chemistry, there's no spark. We come from like 2 different places and it's very obvious. Like he's just like never struggled in his life. You know what I mean? He comes from a rich city. He went to a rich school. Pulled up in a BMW. I pulled up in my 2009 Hyundai Elantra. So there's a clear difference here, right? Dinner's going fine. Like, there's no awkward silence, but it's like fine. You know what I mean? I can carry a conversation, and sometimes I think I'm like, okay, like I have fun on these things because of me, not because of them. You know, we're getting the bill. And like we're casually talking as he's like paying on the little kiosk that they have. He turns that shit right around for me to pay my half. Mind you, I just got pasta, I got water, that's it. And I'm like a little stunned because I've never had to, like if I went on a date, I've never paid for myself. But I was like, okay, Mr. Independent, period. I pay for myself, obviously I have money for it, so I'm not tripping, but it's like, it's like a little telling. And so then we finished dinner and he was like, that was so much fun. Isn't there like a Dave & Buster's around? I'm like, oh, like yes, actually there is. I am really competitive. I love arcades. Like I was like, yeah, I'm so down. He was like, okay, let me just drive us and then I'll drive you back here for your car. And I was like, okay. And I wish I didn't do that. I wish I drove by myself. So then we go to Dave & Buster's, we get our little cards, whatever. We're playing like random games. I go, ooh, let's go to the basketball one. Mama used to play basketball. And I'm not a bad player. I would have been in the WNBA if I didn't tear both my ACLs, I'll tell you that. Kidding, obviously. No, but, I like basketball. I like watching it, I like playing it, I like it. I like the sport a lot. And so we finally get to it. Bro, I am pounding his fucking shit. Every single shot that I'm shooting is going in. I'm getting those points. I'm so fucking fast. I'm literally amazing. This fucking loser literally loses. He's literally a loser in this game. He gets mad and hits the machine. So are you fucking kidding me? Pff, hits the machine. No. Immediately in that moment, I already wasn't feeling it. And you made me pay for my food. Even though you invited me out, right? I've lived with an angry man before, and that's exactly what I saw. I went, oh, it's okay, like, can't win them all. And he's like, no, we're fucking doing this again, we're fucking doing this again. We do it again, a second time. Same things happen. I make my shots, he misses his, he loses. And he's like, nah, like, you have to be cheating. Like, are you leaning over, like, to make it? I was like, I play basketball, like, since middle school. Like, I know how to shoot a ball. And he's like, no, kicks the machine. And is, like, genuinely mad. If there's something I can't stand is a fucking sore loser. And especially a man who's like a sore loser. Like, get the fuck out of my face. So then I'm gonna go to the bathroom really quick. Phone up my best friend. I explain what's going on. I said, get the fuck here now. She's like, I'm on my way. So then we go play other games and I specifically pick the games that aren't versus each other, but like the little stupid ones. And she pulls up and she's like, Aline, oh my God. I'm like, oh my God, guys, what are you doing? She came up to her friends. I'm like, oh my God, guys, what are you guys doing here? Oh my God, this is blank leg. And he's like, hi guys, nice to meet you. As if you didn't fucking punch and kick the basketball machine like 5 minutes ago. Okay, cool. And they're like, oh my gosh, you guys want to play one of these, like one together, blah, blah, blah. So then luckily I have backup and I'm like, oh shit, like I need to go to the bathroom again. Like I've been drinking so much water. And I go in with my best friend and I'm like, bro, like we gotta leave. Like I don't want, but he like drove me here. So can we figure this out? And so we go back out. I am really good at lying. So I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm so tired. I just have the worst headache from these like screens and all the noises in here. Like I'm gonna go with them, but thanks so much for the day. I had a really good time. Like this was so much fun. Never once did I say let's do this again, right? And he's like, oh okay, like I have work in the morning. Like yeah, we should probably head back. And he hugs me and he leaves. Okay, I go get my car, whatever. Next day, he texts me and he's like, I had a really amazing time. You're so sweet. You're so funny. Like, and who knew you would be good at basketball? Even though I had mentioned to him that I like had played it, like he totally forgot it, I guess. And he was like, I would love to take you out again if you're free next Friday. We can go out to dinner again if you want. And I left him undelivered because after my breakup, if there's something that I learned is that I'm not gonna just like settle. I don't care about your money. I don't care if you're rich. I don't care for materialistic things. I never have. But if you're gonna sit there and have a switch, first of all, that reminds me of my father. I grew up with an angry man. I know what an angry man looks like. So I just didn't say anything. And he texted me again, be like, hey, just want to make sure you saw this. And I didn't say anything again. And yesterday he texted me like, hey, if you're not feeling it, like I'd hope you'd at least have the respect for me to say that. I didn't say anything again, and then he hasn't said anything, but men and their audacity is a little crazy. Do we not think so? And I don't want to settle. I don't want to settle. I didn't have a spark. I didn't have a connection. No chemistry. We clearly come from two different backgrounds, which is fine. But there are like sufferable rich people, and you're just like your personality, like whatever. It didn't work out. And I'm happy that I discovered that, but it's also that's why it's important to like go on these dates to see what you like, see what you don't like. And yeah.
Yes, I'm doing dry January this year, and no, it's not because I care about my health. It's because I want to remind everyone that I am better than them.
Story time about how a 20+ year friendship dissolved, completely gone. It's kind of funny, so buckle up. So I was in a relationship with someone for quite a few years, and we had gone out for my 25th birthday. This was, just about a year ago. Anyway, no, it was 17 years ago. We had gone out for my 25th, and when we came back to the house, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I had gotten a phone call from an unknown number. I didn't fucking answer that shit. Didn't want to answer that shit. And I let it go to voicemail. And the voicemail, I played it on speaker in front of everyone. That was a fucking big mistake. So anyway, that voicemail said, hey girl, I just want you to know that when he's not with you, he's with me. And the way she just went into detail about their sex life. And the only way you would know is if you had sex with him, because he does certain things. Okay. So anyway, detail, and his jaw just dropped. All of our friends were like, I got somewhere to be. So they all left, leaving us alone. And then he was like adamant, nothing happened. I was never with anybody else. I might be an asshole, but the one thing I hold sacred is our life together, and that's it. So then, after a couple of weeks, careful deliberation, because I was going through a custody battle with my oldest daughter, because it was different counties, and it was going to be her starting kindergarten, and I had to like figure out if she was going to go to school there or back home. so I decided to move back home, and I had to move in with my mom because I had nowhere else to go. So then my best friend who helped me move back home came, and we had found an apartment together. I found a job and we found an apartment together, and she came and she was helping me pack to move into our apartment. And she was like, hey girl, I have something to tell you. And I was like, what? Like, what do you have to tell me? And she goes, you know the woman that called you? She goes, she was my friend. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? She goes, yes, she was my friend. So you were talking to me about your problems, and I didn't really know what to tell you. Because I had gone through a miscarriage, and he was just very like, "Neh," and I was just like very hurt, and like she didn't know what to tell me. So she talked to her friend who I had never met about my life, but also told her all about my sex life and everything like that. So ladies, be careful who you fucking talk to about shit. So she told her all about my life, and then went and told her that. And this woman took it upon herself to pretend like he had cheated on me to get me to break up with him, because she knew that, my friend knew that that was the only way that it was going to happen. So that woman took it upon herself and did that. So that was part one. Part two of our broken friendship was we ended up moving in together, and there was just a lot of things that happened. She brought a lot of men into our apartment around my daughter, and I was like, hey, if you're going to bring them in, just hide their shoes so she can't see it, so she doesn't know. And that was just part of it. There was just like a lot of animosity left over, a lot of resentment and everything like that, because I couldn't believe she would do that. But then another part is that like I met my ex-husband, and I brought him to her wedding. And as I was walking away to get myself a drink at her wedding, he said, get me a beer, bitch. Now, there was apparently a videographer with a camera that was so fucking small. Nobody knew that he was there, right? The camera was like this big. And I turned around when my ex-husband said that and flipped him off really quick. Now, instead of editing that part out of me doing that, I ruined her entire wedding video. I ruined the entire thing. So she called off our friendship. Called it off. Badmouthed me all over social media. Started calling me a bad mother. And do you know that like when you lose a friendship like that, they start telling all of your fucking secrets all over social media? Well, she did. Anyway, she started doing all of that. Anything I ever did, anything I ever said about anybody, that's what she did. So there you go. That was the end of our friendship. Now, years later, she started calling me and sending me messages about how she misses me and how if I only would apologize. I'm sorry. What? No. No, thank you. I'm not apologizing. She badmouthed me as a parent. After that, she played her role, and maybe we had some competition going on when we were teenagers because we met when we were 11, but no. No, thank you. No. So that was it.